It's kind of like Super Auto Pets, it's kind of like TFT, both games that I have never played before, but people tell me that they're in the same genre because this is an auto battler. However, this is kind of like Mechabellum, another game that I have played, which was my first auto battler I've ever played. And I really enjoyed that, and I'm also really enjoying backpack battles. So there's some big content creators who have started popularizing this game, which is funny because it's only a demo. There's only 2 classes. There's going to be more classes in the future, presumably when this game fully releases, but this game's already a ton of fun. I know 40 hours in my action RPG brain is basically nothing, because when you think about Path of Exile and you think about Last Epoch, you think about thousands and thousands of hours. But I've been playing this game for maybe 3 or 4 days. I got like 40 hours in it. It's good. It is a very, very enjoyable game. So what we're going to do here is talk about what's going on in the game, and then I will also show some gameplay as well. I might do an entire gameplay, like as far as I can go with the character, but at the very least, on the YouTube chapters down below, you'll see that I'll split, and I will show you like the beginning where we talk about the game, and then the gameplay later on. During the gameplay, I will talk about some hints, some tips and tricks about how I navigate my characters, but just the bare bones of the game itself, we'll talk about it right here. So we have got some characters. We're going to build up our backpack, and during the actual rounds, we don't do anything. It's an auto battler. You just like, you have this character here, and they kind of punch each other. But our backpack is up here in the top left corner, and you'll see that there's like a class specific backpack with a ranger bag. It's a nice green box, tells us exactly what it does. And then we can expand our backpack by buying things like a leather bag. Inside of the backpack, we'll put some weapons, like this wooden sword that deals damage, and it costs stamina. You'll see that there's a stamina mechanic down here. If it tries to attack and you don't have stamina, well, it just restarts its duration, and then it tries to attack next time. So attacking with a weapon, you need stamina. So that's thing number 1 there. We have these bananas over here. There's some food items. They kind of have synergy with each other. There's activated items. There's defensive items. There's offensive items. There's buffs and debuffs and all sorts of things. There's some buffs and debuffs you can put on your character. You can have like luck. Having luck increases accuracy, but you'll see that in this bag, we also have critical strike chance. You can debuff your opponent by doing things like poison. You'll see if we swap over to the Reaper class, which is the other of the 2 classes available here, we have some poison stuff going on. And then of course the helper tech tells you exactly how poison works. There's a couple things that aren't immediately obvious about how this game works, and I hope that I can do a good job of explaining those to you. One of the frustrating things to me when I started playing this game was the navigation of the inventory, because it's not immediately clear how you can move things around and how you can reset your entire board. And the other is what the recipes are. There's a couple third-party websites that you'll find that explain like what the recipes are and how to make the items, but none of those websites really made me feel like, aha, this is the website that really explains this information in the right way. So this will not be the perfect solution, but hopefully it will help out some of you at home. So we're gonna load up a character here and talk about like round number 1. There's no timer. We don't need to go as fast as possible or as slow as possible. You could speed run, I guess, if you wanted to. That could be kind of interesting. But when we are doing our purchasing in the shop, when we are manipulating our inventory and moving items around and playing this fancy game of Tetris, there's no timer. So we don't need to worry about that. So when we start out, we're gonna go unranked, just have some fun here. I've been playing a lot of this Reaper class, but I think I'm gonna go back and play my my Ranger class. Let's do an unranked game like this and see what goes on. So when you load in the game, what are the first couple things you want to know? I'm gonna hide my camera in case I accidentally hide information from you. Got this nice little dude down here. He does nothing. You can click on him, I guess. So what are we looking at this point? Well, we're looking at our money. So we're in the shop. We've got 10 gold, and we're going to be purchasing these things for their gold amount. When you buy an item, you can also sell that item for about half its price. So you see that the leather bag here costs 4 gold. If I tried to sell this thing, I would only get 2 gold for it. The important thing about that is sometimes these items are on sale, and any time that these items are on sale, you can buy them for, 2 gold and then sell them for exactly 2 gold as well. So any item that's on sale is basically free. The other thing that you ought to know about the the economics of this game is that an item is never sold for less than 1 gold. So periodically you'll see items that are only that you're buying them for 1 gold. And if you buy something for 1 gold, you can always sell it for 1 gold. So those are pretty important things to know about. Should also know that this little arrow here, As a new player, I tried clicking this, and it turns out it does nothing. If you click and drag this, you'll see all of the items pop over into your storage, and now we can juggle, which is the real end game of backpack battles. Any experienced player should know that. Wait, I got off track. So we can take our inventory, we can move it around this grid. We can also right click to make these items fit exactly how we want them to. There is no Control Z button. So if you kind of get lost in the sauce and you forget what your brain was trying to do a second ago, you're gonna have to rebuild from scratch. I kind of wish there was a Control Z, but maybe I just need to get better at the game. So we have 10 gold. We're gonna be purchasing some stuff here. We can re-roll the shot for 1 gold here. We have 25 health. I don't think there's anything in the game that increases your health, but as levels go on, your health will automatically go up. So this is an irrelevant number for you right now. And then stamina, if you're attacking with a weapon, you need stamina here. So this wooden sword has a stamina cost of 0.7 per second. You see that my stamina goes from very low, regenerate 1 per second, we're using 0, to low. So my character still has a smiley face. Tell me what's going on here. If I put in a pan as well as another melee weapon, you'd see that my stamina usage would go from 0.7 to 1.7. And 1.7 is more stamina than I am regenerating per second. So at some point during that combat, I would skip an attack because I would try to attack and I wouldn't have the stamina for it, so my weapon would go back on cooldown. So that's a mechanic that we ought to know about from the very beginning. So this Lucky Clover, it also has a little blue line like this, and that blue line is signaling to me, or to you as a brand new player, that there's some synergy between these two items here. And as it turns out, there is. So I'm gonna pop open my recipe sheet, and this is not gonna be exactly what you see as a new player, but we can talk about this real quick. So on the recipe sheet, this is everything that you can do by combining items and unlocking recipes. There's not a perfect website that shows this exactly the way that I wish it would, but there's some okay fan Wikipedia, or like wiki kind of things out there as well. So this is what we got going on. We see this Lucky Piggy. We have a piggy bank plus Lucky Clover and Lucky Clover. If we combine all 3 of those things, then we get the Lucky Piggy out of it. And the Lucky Piggy is this green pig on the left side. How do you combine item? Well, you combine an item just by putting them next to each other and then going through one combat phase. So let's see if we can find some kind of example of that as we continue talking here. Some other items that we might want to know about. We can combine 2 weapons into an even fancier weapon. We can buy a blood amulet and go ham with these vampiric items over here. They give you a bunch of life gain on hit sort of things with melee weapons. We can combine shields with a walrus tusk and have thorns so that every time an opponent hits us, they take damage themselves. We can even apply a whole bunch of poisons with a poison dagger. One of the new items just added in this patch, we're in patch 054E, is this corrupted crystal. And one of the recipes with the corrupted crystal is the pandemonium, which is a pan that has a panda on it. It's adorable. Get used to humor like that. We have some very fancy Crossblades item. This item is very hard to put together, but once you get to this point, it is quite strong. And then we have some ranged weapons as well. A broom by itself is a melee weapon, but combining it with a mana orb gives you some ranged weapons, and ranged weapons are a little bit different than these melee weapons are over here. The last category of items to talk about are these potions on the top. These potions can all interact with each other. You'll see that there's some helper text on the bottom left of the purple box that's on the screen here. It says potion. After being consumed, it also applies the effect of the star potion without consuming it. And you see that the potion itself, where my mouse is, has a nice little star above it. So that's one of the fundamental pieces of the Tetris puzzle that is backpack battles. You'll see that we have stars and we have squares near our items. And the stars and squares explain, or they explain like how items are related to each other. So the pandemonium is a good example. It has 4 stars around it. So take a look at the text box. It says star food activates, inflicts 1 poison. So if there's food on the star squares next to the pandemonium, every time the food activates, the pandemonium will inflict 1 poison. That's pretty neat. It also has that green square that's kind of faded out because there's nothing in it. And it says opponent below 35% health, the square item or diamond item triggers 100% faster. So double speed. So this is a pretty cool system, which encourages you to play around with exactly how your items are positioned. And I often find myself really getting lost in the saws where I have my whole board built out with like tons and tons of items across the entire board. And like it dawns upon me where, man, I could really get like 1 or maybe 2% better like return on all my investment here. I get like 1 or 2% better ROI if I spent 20 minutes playing Tetris. It's like, well, do I really want to sit here and worry about everything being perfect, or do I just want to go fight monsters? And oftentimes, because there's no time limit, I want to sit here for 20 minutes. Oh my God, it's so much fun. I encourage you, for a free game that's a demo, it is so much fun to jump in here and just experiment with different stuff. The last thing that I want to say about recipes is let's toggle this with the ranger selected right now. We can also click on Reaper, and you'll see that some items disappear and some other items show up. So let's click on Reaper here. You can see what exactly is going on. Reaper has access to a few more of these gooberts down here. Gooberts are kind of interesting. I think the rainbow goobert is mostly a meme. It seems incredibly difficult to make the rainbow goobert, or whatever the rainbow goobert's name actually is. It's all 5 of the gooberts. It's the 4 special gooberts plus the 1 default. And you combine them all, and he's really strong, but good Lord, is it difficult to live that dream. You'll also see that there is some no copyright infringement ruby whelps that transform with a hollow fire lizard into a ruby chonk. And the ruby chonk is quite strong as well. This is an interesting item because it is a ranged weapon that does not cost stamina, and it also doesn't hit reflect because it's ranged. So it's just a dragon that sits in your inventory and deals damage for you. And he also happens to gain heat for you. And then of course the heat mechanics is explained on the card itself on the bottom left, where it says heat, all items trigger 2% faster per stack of heat, which is a pretty cool little mechanic here. So that's a brief description of how the inventory works. We'll encounter some items as we go, but I think first things first, let's go punch some monsters here. So I've got a sword. My sword is my only source of damage right now. We're going to walk through like an unranked battle and see what our character here can do. So what we'd like to do is win like 8 or 10 times in a row, and then we'll see if we can continue after that point. I guess you don't have to win 10 times in a row because you have these 5 hearts here. But let's should we grab a piggy bank? I like a piggy bank. I like a piggy bank for no particular reason. Don't judge me. I'm gonna grab some inventory space as well. It's not the most aggressive start, but I do like it. Oh, look at this. Look at these things on sale. Wow, that's so strong. So I've got a wooden buckler on sale. I'm gonna reserve this because I don't want it to leave me. I want it to stay forever. And next time, after we do our fight, this wooden buckler will still be here because I'm left clicking on this in order to reserve it. Let's buy ourselves a wooden sword as well. And what I could do, of course, is this item buys for 1. You'll see I have 2 gold here. I can always buy this, then I can sell it immediately by dragging it into the box here, and I'm back at 2 gold. So remember, anything that buys for 1 also sells for 1, because you never sell anything for 0. You can technically even sell your starter backpack for 8 gold. I've done it once, and I think it was an okay thing to do. But in general, I'd recommend not selling your starter backpack here. I will do this though. I think having two weapons is a pretty strong start for round 1 here. So I got my 2 weapons. I'm placing my 2 weapons in the ranger bag so that they gain 5 crits by virtue of me owning a lucky clover here. And then let's put the pig in there. Pig doesn't do anything, but yeah. As I do this, you see lucky piggy 1 out of 2, which is reference to needing 2 clovers, and I only have 1 clover currently. So let's do this and start our battle by left clicking in the top middle of the screen. Don't mind me, I'm going to enjoy my coffee. This looks good for us. We got 2 swords, they only have 1 sword. So they have their they've made a little mistake here. But let's talk about this screen real quick. Once we get like 8 wins, we will get a class specific item. So you'll see that there's a different screen that will show up at that point. So we'd like to get at least 8 wins so that we can start popping off, and then we can stop at 10 wins if you want to. or you can continue on and try to get like another 6 wins past that, and then you can get even more trophies, and you can rank up even more if rank is the kind of thing that you care about. Even if rank is not the thing you care about, having more items and more specificity and speccing more into whatever your particular build is, it's a lot of fun. So I would encourage you in general to just continue. You know, don't worry too much about your rank. Just go fight monsters, especially if you're playing an unranked. So we've got 5 tries. Let's click this eye in the middle here. I think this eye is excellent. Lets us know exactly what's going on. And in fact, we can click on the open log. And if you, I'm going to use the phrase again, if you want to get lost in the sauce and see exactly what's going on, boy, oh boy, can you find out exactly what's going on. This is also a nice way to do a little bit of science. If you're unsure about a particular interaction and whether something works exactly the way that you think it works, you can always open up the combat log and see exactly what's going on. You can drag this combat log around in case it's getting in your way. And then on the left and right, you'll see that there are these little arrows. You click on this and you'll see that all of my damage is coming from a wooden sword and all of my opponent's damage is coming from a wooden sword. So that's the damage breakdown there. I guess I have 2 wooden swords, so it's split between those 2 things, even though they have the same name. So let's drag this around. We can close these arrows and close this box out. And one mistake that my opponent made here is this whetstone has these 2 stars next to it, and it says star weapons gain +1 damage. If they had picked up their whetstone and rotated it, then it would have applied +1 flat damage to their wooden sword. However, they forgot to do that, or they just placed it in the wrong spot. So because of that, they've lost 1 try there. I believe all the matchmaking is asynchronous. I believe this is a snapshot of someone's character. So no one is sitting at their computer right now, you know, lamenting that they just lost to me. But I think how the PvP works in this game is it takes a snapshot of my character with my record on round 1. And in the future, maybe the next 24 or 48 hours, it'll just load my character as the opponent to somebody else who's playing live. Pretty sure that's how it works. But let's keep going. I'm gonna buy some more stuff. Oh, there's a banana for sale. It's like a banana for scale, but slightly different. Let's buy this this wooden buckler. Remember, if we buy this for 2 gold, we can always sell it for 2 gold as well. So it is a very low commitment item. This banana's neat. Banana's cool. It gives you some regenerating stamina. There are builds that tend to use more stamina than they regenerate. So getting more stamina with maybe 2, maybe 3 bananas, or a flute, for example, or maybe just topaz in your armor. There's a gemstone mechanic that we might be able to talk about in this video here. But there are other ways to regenerate stamina, and there's actually some pretty cool synergies with those things as well. For a game that's a demo, basically early access, there is quite a bit of content and there's tons of stuff to explore. There's some stuff that's broken, there's some stuff that's not particularly balanced well, but like the game is fun. What are you supposed to do, man? We do want a whetstone. You'll see if you watch previous YouTube videos that were made more than a week or so previous to this one, you'll see that some people like to reserve this and then re-roll, and they try to manipulate RNG like that. Thankfully, that no longer exists because that is counterintuitive and new players don't know about that, and it's a barrier to entry that kind of stinks. So there's no longer any RNG manipulation. Reserving this and then re-rolling doesn't do anything anymore. So let's buy this whetstone. This whetstone's really strong for us. We can place it in between our 2 hero swords, or sorry, in between our 2 wooden swords, and both the top sword and the bottom sword both get buffed. That is quite strong for us. Let's re-roll one more time. Ooh, a little customer card. A customer card is kind of interesting. I think at full price, it's kind of a bad purchase, but at half price, ooh la la, how about that? What else could we do here? We could buy like another wooden sword. That's a possibility. I kind of like the idea of this. I don't have space for my buckler right now. I don't think there's anything that I can do in order to make that happen. Is there? Because I want both swords to be in the ranger backpack. I want the whetstone between it like this. Is there any way? I guess I could, okay, how about this? How about this? I could just not use the pig for 1 round. Yeah, all right. I'm gonna buy this anyways. I think the customer card's fine. I'm actually going to reserve the 2x2 leather bag. You'll see that the leather bag is a common item, and up here at the top of the shop, you'll see that there's a breakdown of how common these random things are. So we're in round 2 right now. So round 2, we have a 1% chance of an epic item. And as the rounds progress, you'll see that those numbers become more and more normalized, and eventually they'll reach 20, 20, 20, 20, 20 from top to bottom. So right now, these common items are pretty common, and I really do like leather bags, just having enough space to put in all the sweet items that you're buying. So we're going to leave our piggy bank off. Because he's not equipped, we will not gain 1 gold, but I think it's worthwhile just to have the customer card in here instead. Because if I took out the customer card, I still need 2 spaces, and I don't have any other space. I think the wooden buckler is quite good. So let's keep this thing equipped, and we will jump into our next fight here. What's our opponent doing here? They're trying to make a thorn shield. Okay. We both have bananas. I've got 2 swords, and they only have 1 sword. It's busted. How could I possibly lose? Oh my god, I'm gonna lose. No! It's so close! Brutal. I killed myself against their thorns here. That was really close, wasn't it? So they had a tiny bit of a shield, or I guess it's called block, right? Tiny bit of block generation. Nothing, okay, I'm gonna say this, but hold on. Nothing goes through block. So like there's no chaos damage or anything like that. Except there is one thing that goes through block. There is one thing that's kind of like chaos damage for all you Path of Exile gamers out there. Once we get a little bit further into the game, you'll see that there is a gemstone mechanic. And the gemstone, the box of gems or the box of riches, is something that sits in your inventory and it generates gemstones for you. And gemstones are kind of like gems from Path of Exile. You can augment your inventory or augment your items by putting gemstones into them. So you can put a gemstone into your wooden buckler, put a gemstone into your wooden sword, and you can get various offensive and defensive mechanics out of that. The sapphire is quite good, and it's quite meta right now, because there's lots of ways of generating block, but a sapphire gives you a % chance of your weapon attacking through block. So the sapphire stuff is the only thing that goes through armor, or I guess goes through block. Click. Let's keep going. What can we find here? I'm gonna buy this, get some more inventory space. Garlic is fine. There's some food builds out there. You can like use a pan, you can use a pandemonium, or even this Excalibur here. And there's like food strategies that are pretty strong in the early levels, especially if you're playing as a Reaper. It's like +1 damage for each nearby food item. So you just buy one of these pans, put a bunch of food around them, and then the food has a little bit of utility to them. The pan gains flat damage based off of that, and it tends to be a pretty strong thing to do. I could buy gloves to try to make one of my swords happen faster, but I think I'm just gonna reroll here. What I'd really like to do is find another whetstone. That would be excellent for me. But instead, I think this looks good. So now I can get my crit even higher. I can turn my piggy bank into a lucky piggy with this recipe over here. So that's a nice thing for us to do. I've got 0 gold left. Healing herbs, no. There's a recipe with healing herbs that we might care about someday, using the health potion and upgrading into a strong health potion. But nothing else here is particularly interesting. So I think we're just going to ship the battle and see how much more we can do. We've died once here. Oh, we just talked about the food strategy, didn't we? So this person has a pan with 5 food around it. So that's +5 flat damage. And they drank their health potion to gain a bunch of life. Brutal. All right, there goes 2 tries. Oh, here's what we're looking for then. I'm going to take my lucky piggy and put it onto my wooden buckler. This 20% more likely. It's kind of like 20% increased likely. Listen, so it doesn't take your 35 and juice it up to 55, like it might look like. It takes your 35 and increases it by 20%. So it's 35, 10% of that is 3.5, so that's 7. So it's 35 plus 7 is 42% chance to block if the piggy is aiming at that. So we'll aim the piggy right there. I'm going to take the whetstone. Remember, this is very, very strong. So one of my swords will transform into a hero sword, but for this turn, let's make sure that we right click this thing, just like that. There we go. There, aesthetics. So both of my swords are getting hit by both of these whetstones when I hover over them. That's nice to see. A stone is a nice thing to have. I can always just buy this. Remember, it costs 1, so I can just sell it if I need to. But there's no reason not to buy it. So technically, I'm just gonna buy it. Let's do this. Yo! Oh, What is this guy here? Well, acorn collar. Acorn collar is a really nice thing to see. So it is a 10% chance for an epic item to show up. And we've got an epic item here. So this is star items gain 5 crit chance for each clover. And we have 2 clovers because our lucky piggy gives us those 2 clovers there. We have 4. This costs 6. I could sell the customer card. I might actually just do that in order to pick this up. The customer card is fine, but remember we bought this for 2 gold, so we could just sell it for 2 gold as well. The other things that we could do is buy more piggy banks. A blueberry is a nice thing to have in general, but I don't think we're really using a blueberry at all. I like this, but I think I'm just gonna sell here, buy this, and I can put it right here so that both of my weapons are getting bonus crit chance. So remember, in the hero bag, the swords gain crit for each clover. We have 2 clovers. They have 10, and then 5 for each. That's 20. So we have 20 crit chance on both of these things, and that's pretty neat. I'm not sure I need these blueberries for any reason. I might just leave them off, but I like reserving these leather bags. I think they're just fine. So let's put this stone in. I guess, is a random stone better than a random blueberry? Every 3.5 seconds gain 1 mana, but I'm not using mana for anything. I guess if I put this blueberry close to my banana, this is kind of sounding like PG-13 all of a sudden. If I put the blueberry next to my banana, then my banana procs slightly faster. Do I care about having a slightly faster banana? Fellas, let's go ahead and do this. So this is the gemstone mechanic that we were talking about, this box of riches. So the box of riches generates a gemstone, and at face value, the gemstones are kind of similar to like a lucky piggy. A lucky piggy, it's a 1x2 item, and it generates 1 gold per turn. And a box of riches, it costs more, and at face value, all it does is create these gemstones, and you can sell them for 1 gold a turn. But it's a little bit better than that because you can also augment your gear by putting the gemstones into your various offensive and defensive items. So let's keep going here. We got 2 victories under our belt. This is a spicy item right here. Am I using a corrupted crystal for any reason? Putting a corrupted crystal in your weapon, it's fine. It's not that good. But putting a corrupted crystal into your armor is something that is so strong that it really ought to be nerfed. Every 5 debuffs inflicted gives you 5 armor, which is insane once you start to stack a whole bunch of debuffs and even stack multiple corrupted crystals into your armor. I think this is something that I'm not interested in doing right now. I've got this hero sword here, and I think we're gonna work toward this Crossblades. Is it too late to work toward a Crossblades? It might be. Crossblades is kind of a tricky item to make happen. With the hero sword, and hero sword plus double gloves of haste gives us the falcon, and then hero sword plus double whetstone gives us the hero longsword. Let's see, what's this thing do? Items trigger 35% faster. It's a pretty good item. Man, it really is a good item too, isn't it? And the hero longsword is those weapons gain +4 damage. You know, having a hero longsword with a bunch of stones next to it and a bag of stones to make him proc more, that can be kind of interesting. We'll see about that. I really would like more whetstones, wouldn't I? Is whetstones like the only thing we're looking for? It might be. Ooh. Oh, man, this is really cool too, though. This blood amulet being on sale. I'm such a... Oh, I shouldn't have reserved this. Having items on sale, I'm such a sucker for them. I'm just gonna buy it. There's literally no downside. I could always sell it for 5 gold, remember? But we're gonna skip on this. I'm looking for whetstones. Whetstones are 45% because they're a common item. Having a glove would be fine. Having a glove would be fine. I could glove the hero sword. And then maybe I could make a falcon blade, but not make a hero longsword. It's a possibility. It's a little bit lower in damage, but it can make other things proc faster. I guess it's a rare item. So it's gonna be like more common next turn. Okay, all right. Let's sell this thing. We're gonna buy our whetstone here. Let's see if we can make another one. We've got like one, maybe two more rerolls. All right. Do I buy it? I'm gonna buy it. Don't judge me now. Let's reroll again. And we could even reroll one more time by selling the stone. And I'm looking for a common item. So the item that I'm looking for is going to be less common next round, because that 45% is going to go down to like 40% or something. So I'm actually going to sell this stone and reroll one more time in order to get punished for it. That sounds about par for the course. Let's do this. My opponent has some fanny packs here. So the fanny pack says items inside the fanny pack trigger. Let's see, can I make it show up? I'm getting bodied by this leather armor here. This leather armor giving them another 45 HP at the very beginning of the fight. That's really rough, isn't it? So let's see, can I make the fanny pack show up? Lucky Clover. Is there any place where I can put my mouse where it shows you what a fanny pack does? Well, the fanny pack says items inside of it trigger 10% faster. So it's a nice way to try to min-max and juice up the rest of your character. They're not using mana for anything right now, so they just have this thing here. But yeah, the hero sword, another 45 armor here, then a spiked shield to punish me for attacking. So all right. So there's the whetstone that we're looking for. This might be a little bit late, but I'm gonna try to do this anyways. We have 2 more tries. Maybe we can brew something here. We're not really looking for a wooden sword. At this point, we're kind of looking for hero sword plus double whetstone. Oh my god, we need even more whetstones. How does anyone ever make this crossblades thing, man? We'll see what we can do. Click. This is 7. This is costing us 3. I think we're re-rolling this. We could use another acorn collar. Remember, we bought this blueberry for 1, so we could always sell this and get another acorn collar. I think that's something that could potentially drag us across the finish line. So let's do this. I don't think we're interested in using a potion belt. Like, it's good because it's 4 inventory slots for 3 gold instead of 4 inventory for 4 gold, like a leather bag here. I think we're just gonna skip on these things. When I'm playing a Reaper, this is like the only item that I ever want to purchase. But when I'm playing a Ranger, I'm not so sure about that. Maybe I should figure out a better Ranger strategy that uses these corrupted crystals. Because really, putting this in armor is really, really strong right now. Probably should be nerfed. Yeah, but it's really, really strong right now. What's my opponent got going on? They've got a broom and they're critting me with it. It's kind of hot. We survive here. Can we crit them? Those bananas are really giving them a lot of HP, aren't they? You see the fatigue damage is showing up here. Let's talk about fatigue real quick, because that was a really good instance of it. So the way that fatigue works is after 16 seconds, fatigue damage starts to happen. Let's drag ourselves down. 14, 15, and... This is deal. Okay, so this is 16.9. There we go. So is it 17 seconds? I thought it was at the 16 second mark, but in any case, so around the 16 or 17 second mark, we see that the fatigue begins. I think it technically begins at 16, and then it ticks up to 1 stack at 17 seconds. So you'll see that when fatigue is at 1, both players take 1 damage. When fatigue takes up to 2, both players take 2 damage. When fatigue takes up to 3, both players take 3 damage. There's some mechanics that interact with fatigue, but basically it's a way to ensure that the fights don't go on forever and that somebody will die faster than the other person does. So let's keep going here. There's a clover here, huh? A clover is kind of a generically good item, huh? I can't quite glove both of these, can I? If I wanted to glove both of these, then I couldn't acorn both of them. And I think the acorns are really strong. So let's do this. Let's buy ourselves a clover. Clovers, remember, gives us 10 crit. Sorry, actually 15, right? 5, 10, 15. So 5 from the ranger bag, another 5 from the acorn collar, another 5 from this. So each lucky clover that we buy is 15 crit chance on these hero swords, which is pretty cool, if you ask me. Let's reroll here. There's a pan, but I'm not sure that I'm interested in using this. Our stamina usage, we generate 1 stamina per second, and we're using 1 stamina per second, which is fine, but remember, when we attack into a shield, shields have a chance of removing stamina from the attacker. So attacking into a shield can kind of stutter you a little bit. This is 3 inventory slots for 5, and we don't have any particular reason for, to build stamina. I think we're just re-rolling this here. We could buy a pan in order to sell it to mimic the dream. We have rock here, we've got a banana. I could buy a fanny pack in order to make one of the hero swords attack slightly faster. It's true, it's true. I'm not sure how much I care about that, but it is true. Let's re-roll again. Yo, the impractically large greatsword. I've seen some really cool builds with this. I'm pretty sure this item's a meme, but I'm also pretty sure that it's cool. I'm interested in getting a bow and arrow. I think bow and arrow is quite a good item on rangers, even if it's not on sale. Let's put this banana back in here. Let's put a rock back in here. And then we'll save up some gold for the bow and arrow next round. Hopefully we're okay. We'll see how this goes. My opponent is the Pandemonium with 1 piece of food. And they're making their gloves proc faster, which is not a thing that you can do. So their setup here is a little bit not min-maxed. So maybe we can scrape by here. Take a look at their Pandemonium. The green box on the Pandemonium says when the opponent's below 35% health, that item procs faster. So it's making a glove proc faster, which doesn't do anything. They have the double glove hitting both their melee weapons. So the Pandemonium and the wooden longsword are both attacking faster. So that's cute, I suppose. They also have a dagger down here, which is attacking faster because it's in a fanny pack. The dagger could be vertical instead of horizontal. If it were vertical, then it'd be in both fanny packs. And of course, being in both fanny packs means that it applies 20% faster instead of just 10% faster. So their build's a little bit all over the place, but then again, mine's not great either. So glad that we can pull that one out. Yes. So we're in round 8. So going into round 8, we get one of our class-specific items. And this is what I was talking about previously. There's a couple of things we can do here. Some really cool layouts. You can see if I hover these items out. Like the Life Bender, there's the Pathfinder, and this changes what your class is as well. So this is kind of like a subclass. It kind of depends what you are doing here. The Hunter is definitely the most common item that I see people take. Just getting crit damage, removing shield on crit, and then chance to gain more crit chance with those clovers. What are these other items doing? I've seen Pathfinder be kind of annoying. If I'm playing a poison character, I hate when my opponent's using a Pathfinder, because it's chance to resist for each nature item that's nearby, and all these food items are also nature items. So I'm gonna go ahead and buy the arrow here, and I'd like to have it pointing at all of my stuff, all my weapons. So the piercing arrow is going to the star weapons. Star weapons deal plus 30 damage, so both my weapons are in the line of fire of this. And then whenever a green item activates, I have a 50% chance of gaining one clover. So I've got my shield here. I'm picking my shield to make it slightly more often to happen. Then I have the banana over here. Every 5 seconds this will trigger. So every 5 seconds, I've got a 50% chance of gaining 1 clover. Whew, we're ramping, dude. We're ramping. It'd be nice to have the bow and arrow, but it would also be nice to have a leather armor here. Having leather armor with like a vampiric armor could be something that's interesting, as long as we had a whole bunch of potions to go along with it. Again, I think we're looking for inventory space, gloves of haste, and whetstones. The whetstones only have a 20% chance of appearing, so it's kind of hard for us to get a whetstone at this point. What we could do is put both of these weapons next to each other, because then these weapons buff each other, right? It says star weapons gain +2 damage. And then I could put these right here. So there. This is like a better min-max than what I had previously, right? Then my lucky piggy is not pointing at my shield. I don't know if I can make it point. Oh, I can, right? No, I can't. Yes, I can. No, I can't. I can do this. Nope. This. Okay, so the acorn is hitting both swords. The acorn's hitting both swords. Piercing arrows here. Banana is buffing the piercing arrow. We have gloves here. This thing doesn't need to be anywhere. And then the shield buffs the piercing arrow and the piggy buffs it. Oh, not garbage? You love to see it, don't you? Love to see it. Now, if I want to do a bow and arrow, it'd be pretty good getting in some extra attacks here, and it has a 0 stamina cost. I don't know if I can fit this in anywhere though, can I? I could put it like right here. If I got another 2x2. I think if I got a 2x2, I could make it happen. He says. I can like sell this and go here. And then I want the bow and arrow to be pointing at something. So if it's in the range of the piercing thing, I want the acorn collars. Yeesh. Yeesh. How about this? I want the acorn collars to be buffing up the swords, because then if this middle sword crits, then the bow and arrow will hit twice. So I think ideally I'd like to have this acorn collar down slightly. Ideally, I'd like to have it down slightly, wouldn't I? I think this is good for now. If I could buy this protective purse, this 1x1 inventory, then I would put it right here, and then I put this here, and then I'd be buffing all 3 of them at the same time. So that's something that I'm very much so interested in. The gloves can be used with the hero sword in order to make the falcon blade. So I think that's something that I'm also going to reserve for the next round here. Let's start battle. I'm definitely interested in more inventory space. Weird how I'm always interested in more inventory space. Weird. So they got the Gooberts healing them. And they got crit out of the game. Look at that. What a dream coming true. Their steel Gooberts not really doing anything at all. Their Gooberts is healing them. Their cursed dagger has 1 weapon on it, but the pandemonium only has... Yeah, this is like, it's a little bit all over the place. If you spent like another 45 minutes thinking about how to min-max this, you could probably do a little bit better. But like the pandemonium's not proccing anything on the green square. Yeah, I don't know. Listen, I like Goobert too. Maybe they're trying to live the Goobert dream. I would definitely believe that they're trying to live the dream and make the rainbow Goobert actually happen. Godspeed to them. Buy this thing and go here. I want to... I want to do what? I want to do a lot of things. Yikes. Okay, so this... Okay, so that'll make a falcon blade. I guess this is better here. We said put this here, put this here. Put the banana there. The pig is not doing anything. He's just a way for me to have more of these lucky clovers. Then poison, no. I like what's going on here. We have like the 2 melee weapons. And one of them is about to transform into a falcon blade. When it is, it'll be a longer item, which has, you know, benefits and downsides. But let's re-roll real quick. Ooh, a whetstone? I mean, if I could get a whetstone. Oh, but I could also do a box of riches. Let's see. Whetstone, box of riches, whetstone, box of riches. The payoff for a whetstone is really good. Let's do this right now. We only have 2 gold left. I mean, if I get 1 more whetstone on a hero sword, it's quite good. There's another acorn collar here, which is another 20% crit for all of these items. But now that we're so close to actually making the Crossblades item, I think I'm interested in making the Crossblades item. Let's start a battle here and see what happens. What's my opponent doing? Hopefully not killing me. Don't you do it. Oh! I mean, cool, calm, and calculated. I like the looks of it. Ooh. We got the Falcon Punch over here. Pretty cool. Slowly ramping. So the Falcon Blade says it attacks twice, which is great for applying debuffs if we can put some gemstones in it. And then it says the star items proc faster. So we can do things like like this. Gain more life whenever that thing procs. We can put our whetstone right in the middle. And if we can get 1 more whetstone, we are very excited. So I think because of that, we're just gonna reroll until we get 1. I think really having a whetstone is more important than anything else we can possibly find here. Says the man eyeing his protective purse. That's fine. There's a ruby egg. We could hatch that someday. Oh, we're so close. How much money are we going to waste? How much money are we going to spend? Is it really wasteful? I'm getting taunted. Fine. It's fine. Bam. Oh! Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Look at this. Okay, okay. So we have 0 left. I think I'm reserving this this acorn collar. All of a sudden, I'm really excited. Okay. So our hero sword will become a hero longsword. And then the hero longsword and the falcon blade together will become the crossblades. If we can survive another round, you know, another... Whoa, look at this! If we can survive another round or 2, our build's really gonna pop off. Go on, go on. Okay, so there's the hero longsword. I'm getting a little bit excited here. This is gonna make items proc faster. This is gonna give flat damage to weapons. I think I want to do this. Does that really change anything? It doesn't change anything, does it? I guess we can do this. Putting the acorn collar. The acorn collar is fine. Because I can't get all 3 weapons, can I? But soon, when the crossblades has a different layout to it, because it's like more of an X item, just like a bow and arrow is, then we'll be able to use these acorn collars a bit more efficiently. Let's re-roll here. We got a piggy, which is great. I think I'm interested in doing this with the pig. Got 4 gold left. I like getting these little protective purses. That might be a bad idea, but I do enjoy doing that. Let's see. Can I arrange this any better? I can put a banana next to the piercing arrow. And then I can pig the buckler so that it procs a little bit more often, can't I? Okay, so we've got 2 items that are about to combine here. The hero longsword and the falcon blade are combining into a crossblades, and then our pig is about to become a lucky pig. So let's go ahead and click start. We're going into round 11 here. And I think about round 12, we're probably just gonna dip out and call that a good little introduction to this video game. Look at the crits. Ooh, okay. Can we get to... Oh, look at this thing. This is an item that we got to use on stream the other day. This is a unique item that is a pretty rare thing to show up in your shop. When it shows up, it's quite strong. The strategy with this one, or at least the strategy that we figured out, was to put a whole bunch of daggers around it, and then the villain sword gets like 24 or something flat damage. And plus 24 flat damage is a tremendous amount of flat damage. But let's see what we can do here. You see the Crossblades has two little indicators on it. So the star weapon deals +1 damage, and the green item triggers faster. So I think we want to put the damage onto the crossbow here. Let's do this kind of thing. And then how can we arrange this better? This acorn's hitting both, this acorn's hitting both, and this acorn is hitting both. So that's nice there. I think the rest of this is just fine then. So I think the next things we're looking for here are kind of defensive items, looking to like upgrade our shield, or maybe apply more ailments, and then also use a corrupted crystal. But having this box of riches, I think is going to be excellent for us. So like box of riches, and then maybe just some items that activate multiple times, maybe some food items. Putting those next to the banana here, or sorry, next to the piercing arrow here, will give us more stuff that procs. And having more stuff that procs gives us a better chance of gaining more clovers, and clovers give us crit because of all sorts of things. Let's see, do I want... Pigging that doesn't do anything, does it? I can pig... Can I pig the shield again? I don't think pigging the shield again does anything, does it? I don't think so. I'm not gonna worry too much about that. Ooh, items attack faster. I think I'm down for this. Let's make the crossblades attack faster, because remember, every time the crossblades crits, the bow and arrow will hit twice. So I just want to try to roll that as many times as possible here. Let's grab a stone, because we can always sell it. Yo! That's a lot of speed. Okay, okay. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Let's grab this thing here. So every 4 seconds, and then this food item makes that one proc faster. Can I use my arrows to go left and right? There we go. I think that's fine. A mana orb is something that procs when other items proc. A whetstone we're not interested in. A corrupted crystal procs every 5 seconds. This might be a fine thing to purchase anyways. It's hard to go wrong with a corrupted crystal. Let's do this, and I'm feeling pretty good about our odds. I think our build all of a sudden became really strong.
Okay.
They have all thorns all the time. Okay. Can we kill them through all that? Oh, look at the crits! Holy goodness, look at that. So they have a... So almost no damage. They've applied 1 poison to me because on attacks, they gain 1 shield. And whenever it activates, they have 25% chance of applying 1 poison. So all they have is a whole bunch of armor and a dream to not getting crit to death. I'll take it. So we have this chipped amethyst here. Has some text on it. If you want gems to show up in your shop, you can keep your box of riches equipped. I don't like this, but this is a mechanic that currently exists in the game. If you want to reroll and not have gems appear in your shop, you can unequip your box of riches, and then they will not appear in the shop. I don't like the mechanic. I wish it did not exist, but you know, here we are. I do want gems though. I think they're pretty good for us at the moment. So let's roll here, and we can probably just roll again, huh? A cap of resilience is not a great item. We're not really applying many ailments, so putting the corrupted crystal into an armor, whereas it's normally very, very good, I think for us, it doesn't quite do much. Attacking faster is so strong. It's so strong. It's so strong. Cool. If I can... If I could put a blueberry next to both of these foods, I can make them both proc faster, and that'd be nice. I think we're in the market for inventory space, or maybe like gloves to make these things proc faster. I'll put this in here for now. A 20% chance to remove a buff from your opponent is fine. Removing buffs from your opponent is pretty good. Let's roll again. More stones, more bananas. I could glove this. I think that's fine. Put this over here. There might be some better min-max that we can do here. Let's click start. I'd like to win 14 rounds. God bless. God, look at how strong it is. Holy moly. So we're gonna call it quits here. This is where I would always encourage people to go to start survival mode, especially if you're playing it unranked, because it's just so much fun. So remember, whenever you do this, you gain +1 heart. So the +1 heart gives you 3 tries instead of 2 more tries. And then you rack up as many wins as you can get until you get to about 18 rounds. And then you get all of your trophies. Oh, I guess we can go resume. Let's click this thing. And I'm going to show you the return to title here. And those trophies, we can always continue our game here if we'd like to. Those trophies fade into the right side of your screen over here. And then, of course, maybe we should have opened the video with this. But look at the wardrobe options. Look, there's so many wardrobe options. And there's even whatever on earth that is. But there's so many wardrobe options. Don't click the chibi button. The default is so much better. But in any case, that's the game. Got questions about it? Feel free to drop by Discord or twitch.tv/PierreThePig. Might be streaming this game right now. It's been an awful lot of fun. And I'm going to keep playing this because it's great. Hope your day is going well. We'll see you next time.